Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine this scenario. You've spent years, maybe decades, really deep in a particular field. You're good. You know you are.
Mm-hmm.
Colleagues are always coming to you asking for advice,
Yeah.
because you've got that real-world, battle-tested wisdom. You know you have valuable insights.
Right?
But then that thought pops up. Maybe I should share this knowledge more widely. Write something, build a course, give a talk.
Not something bigger.
Exactly. And the moment you get serious about it, bam,
Yeah.
you freeze.
It happens so often. The source material we're digging into today actually calls it a silent epidemic. It really hits knowledge workers hard, people whose whole value is their expertise.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just feeling like, oh, am I qualified for my job? It's deeper. It's this nagging belief that your knowledge, well, yeah, fine for doing the work.
Right, for the day-to-day.
Yeah, it's just not expert enough or maybe organized enough or even unique enough to actually teach someone else,
Most likely.
let alone, build the business around it.
Right, that feeling of who am I to stand up and say, here's how it works.
Exactly.
Or surely someone smarter, someone with more letters after their name has already done this perfectly. We've got a fantastic set of sources here that really get to the heart of this.
They really do.
So our mission in this deep dive is to peel back the layers on this specific kind of imposter syndrome, figure out why it sidelines brilliant people, and crucially, pull out the actionable strategies these sources offer to get past it, to actually share that knowledge.
And there's a really interesting paradox the sources bring up.
Yeah.
Often the more you genuinely know about something complex,
Yeah.
the more you see how much you don't know. It's like the horizon just keeps expanding. And that, ironically, can just fuel the self-doubt. Makes you feel less qualified to teach the bit you really do know inside out.
Oh, that totally resonates. The learning curve reveals more curve. Okay, so let's get specific then. This imposter syndrome trap for experts. How does it actually show up when you think about teaching or sharing versus just, doing your job?
Well, the crucial thing to grasp, I think, is that the doubt usually isn't about your ability to do the thing. You could probably do your job half asleep.
Ha! Hopefully not literally.
Hopefully not. But the doubt, it creeps in when you think about explaining it, structuring it for someone else, or, putting yourself out there publicly as an authority. The sources break down some classic ways this happens.
Like the comparison trap. Oh man, this feels so relevant today. Social media.
Yeah.
Perfect online courses everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. You look around online, right? You see people already teaching. They've got the slick website, the polished videos, thousands of followers, maybe the book.
Right, the whole package.
Yeah. And you compare your own messy work-in-progress reality, your half-baked ideas, maybe your first shaky attempt at explaining something. You compare that to their finished, published, shiny product.
You're comparing your rough cut to their final edit.
Precisely. It's an unfair fight from the start.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, and then there's the perfectionism prison. This one hits close to home for me. That feeling you have to know everything about a topic, every detail, every nuance, every historical footnote.
Before you dare share anything.
Yes, before you can teach even one small part of it.
It's like, who does that impossible standard even help? The sources argue pretty strongly that this quest for absolute mastery keeps you stuck. You're always preparing, never actually doing, never helping anyone.
Just stuck in research mode forever.
Exactly. An endless loop. Then there's the credential complex.
Ah, yes. The feeling that your years of actual practical experience just aren't enough. You need another degree, right? Or some fancy certification, some official stamp of approval.
Yeah, before anyone will take your knowledge seriously, you end up discounting the incredible value of what you learned on the ground, the problems you actually solved, the fires you put out, the stuff you figured out because you had to.
The stuff that actually works in the real world.
Right. Someone with a PhD might know the theory, but you know how it breaks, how to fix it, how to make it work under pressure. That's gold dust to someone starting out.
Totally. And the last one they mentioned, unique value blindness. This is fascinating. It's like your own way of doing things, your specific approach.
The way you connect ideas.
Yeah, the perspective you've gained from your unique path. It feels so normal, so obvious to you.
That you just don't see how valuable or different it might be for someone else.
You can't see the label from inside the jar.
That's a great way to put it. It's like breathing, right? You don't notice it. Your shortcuts, the mistakes you learn to avoid, that might be the exact thing someone else is desperately searching for, but you just overlook it because it's just how you do things.
Okay, so this is clearly frustrating personally, but what's the bigger picture? The sources argue this isn't just about you feeling bad. There's a real hidden cost for everyone else.
Yeah, this is where they bring in that impact and responsibility idea.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
powerful. When you keep your hard-won knowledge locked up just in your head or your immediate team,
Uh-huh.
you're literally stopping people who need it from getting it. Think about it.
Mm.
Someone right now is probably tearing their hair out over a problem that you figured out how to solve years ago.
Wow. Like, that small business owner struggling with marketing, and you know exactly how to get their first customers.
Exactly. Or, a new manager totally swamped by project chaos, and your simple workflow system could save them months of pain.
Or someone stuck because they lack a tech skill that you use without even thinking.
Right. Every day that knowledge isn't shared is another day someone else struggles unnecessarily. It's a missed opportunity for impact.
That really reframes it, doesn't it? It shifts the focus from, am I good enough, to maybe, am I holding back help someone else needs?
Absolutely. Less about ego, more about service. The sources really hammer this home.
Okay, so if the core problem is feeling like you're not the #1 ultimate guru, how do the sources suggest we rethink what expertise even means for sharing knowledge?
This is so important. You do not need to be the world's leading authority, not even close. What you need, really, is to just be a few steps ahead of the person you're trying to help.
Ah, the relative expert idea.
Yes. The sources use that great analogy, the second-year medical student teaching the first year.
Right. The second year isn't a world-renowned surgeon yet.
Not at all. But they know way more than the first year about that specific stage, and that knowledge is super relevant, incredibly valuable to that beginner. Right then, right there.
So if you've navigated a challenge that someone else is facing now,
You're an expert to them. Your experience is their roadmap. Simple as that. And there's another benefit here, something the sources call the teaching-learning loop.
this is the idea that teaching actually clarifies things for yourself, right?
Exactly. The process of having to organize your thoughts, break down complexity, explain it clearly, anticipate questions. It doesn't just help the learner. It forces you to really sharpen your own understanding.
Solidify your own knowledge.
Yeah, identify gaps, maybe.
Yeah.
It actually makes you better at what you do, almost as a side effect.
And then there's authentic authority. That feels really key in today's world.
It is, and it's a fantastic counter to that credential complex we talked about. People learning online, especially looking for practical skills, they often connect more with teachers who feel relatable.
Someone who was recently in their shoes.
Yes, someone who just got through the struggle they're in now. That authenticity, maybe still having a bit of that beginner's mind yourself, can build way more trust than just flashing a certificate from ages ago. People connect with real stories.
That makes total sense. You
Right.
trust someone who gets your current pain. Okay, so this brings us to the landscape today. The sources talk about this knowledge economy. It's changed things dramatically, opened up huge opportunities.
It's really exciting, actually. They call it the knowledge packaging revolution. Those old gatekeepers, universities, traditional publishers, they're not the only game in town anymore.
Not by a long shot.
Technology has just blown the doors wide open. Anyone with valuable practical know-how can now reach a global audience directly. People looking for exactly what you offer.
And the sources point out some key trends fueling this, like the micro-learning movement.
Yeah, people often want just-in-time answers. Bite-sized, actionable stuff they can use now to solve a specific problem. Not necessarily a huge, long course. Your specific expertise fits that perfectly.
And the experience economy, people aren't just buying info, they're buying results, transformation.
Absolutely. When your knowledge is packaged to help someone achieve something specific, overcome a real pain point, that's the transformation they'll happily pay a premium for, which ties into the trust factor.
Right. In this noisy online world, trust is everything. People will pay more for knowledge from someone they trust, someone curated.
And your real-world experience, shared authentically, builds that trust way better than just, abstract claims. The sources also mention things like skill-based learning becoming more dominant than degrees in many fields.
That makes sense.
The need for just-in-time learning, finding solutions right when problems hit, and the rise of community-driven education where people learn together, guided by an expert.
And we're not talking small potatoes here. The sources cited some huge numbers, the online learning market globally, over $250 billion in 2023. And still growing fast.
It's massive. It just shows the incredible demand for good, structured, practical knowledge from people who actually know their stuff, people who've been there. Which leads to the next question, right? Okay, the market's there, But how do I figure out what my unique, valuable knowledge actually is?
Because we all have these unique knowledge assets, apparently, even if we don't see them.
Absolutely. The sources give some great categories to think about. There's the obvious one, experience-based knowledge. The practical solutions you figured out through trial and error, your tested methods for fixing things. That's huge.
Okay. Or what about synthesis skills, like the way you pull together ideas from different places?
Yes, that knack for seeing connections others miss, creating something new from existing parts. Super valuable. Then there's cultural or industry insights, that deep understanding you have just from being immersed in a specific field or community.
The unspoken rules, the context.
Exactly. And process innovation. Even those little tweaks you've made, the efficient ways you do common tasks, those can be game changers for someone else drowning in inefficiency.
It really is about spotting the value in what just feels like common sense to you.
That's the heart of it. And the best part, the technical side, which used to be a massive barrier, it's mostly gone away.
Yeah, the sources really push this technology advantage.
It's kind of amazing how little tech skill you actually need now. They talk a lot about no-code solutions, platforms specifically designed so anyone can build a course, a membership site, whatever, without writing a single line of code.
Drag and drop, basically.
Pretty much. And AI, of course, is a huge helper here, too.
Oh, so?
Well, AI tools can be amazing assistants. They can help you take your jumbled thoughts and organize them, brainstorm content, draft outlines, create quizzes, even help script videos. It just slashes the workload.
Takes away some of that initial overwhelm of structuring everything.
Definitely. And helps make it more engaging, maybe even personalize it. What used to need developers in complex software. Now it's often user-friendly platforms that handle hosting, payments, everything. The sources basically say, if you can make a PowerPoint or record a decent phone video,
you've got the skills.
You've likely got all the tech skills you need to get started.
Wow. That removes a huge mental block for a lot of people, I bet. So, okay. If the tech isn't really the issue, and the market's clearly there, and you do have valuable knowledge, it really comes back to that internal battle, doesn't it? Just taking the leap.
That's the core challenge, acting despite the doubt, not waiting for it to vanish. And the sources offer some really practical ways to build that momentum. One big one, start with service, not sales.
Meaning?
Focus on genuinely helping just one person solve one specific problem first. Don't worry about the big launch. Just help someone. When you see your knowledge make a real difference for that one person.
It gives you proof.
Concrete proof. It directly contradicts that inner voice saying you're not valuable. Another tip.
Right.
Document your journey.
Keep notes.
Yeah, not just successes, but the problems, how you thought them through, what worked, what didn't. It creates a factual record. Evidence against feeling like a fraud. You did solve these things.
That's smart. And they also mention embracing the beginner's mind when you teach.
Yes. Don't try to be the flawless guru. Be real about your journey, struggles included. That vulnerability actually builds more trust than pretending you're perfect.
People relate to that.
Totally. And test small, scale smart. Don't do the giant magnum opus course right away. Start tiny. A mini workshop, a single lesson, a short guide on one specific pain point. Get a win, get feedback, build confidence.
Makes sense. They also threw out other strategies like batch creation for efficiency.
Right, and the minimal viable course, or MVC, just the essentials for one outcome.
Repurposing stuff you already have, like old presentations.
Smart. And using automation for things like emails to build passive income potential.
It's all about making it feel manageable, sustainable, and while the impact is key, they don't shy away from the financial transformation potential either.
No, they definitely highlight that. We're not just talking pocket money here. The sources explicitly mention building significant businesses. 6, even 7 figures are possible for knowledge entrepreneurs.
Wow. Why is that potential so high?
Several reasons. Premium pricing. Because
Wow.
you're selling transformation, solving real pain, people paying more. The scalability digital products let you teach 10 or 10,000 with similar effort once it's made.
True. No physical limits.
Plus things like recurring revenue from memberships and geographic independence reach anyone, anywhere.
The financial side is definitely compelling, but the sources circle back to something maybe even more profound, the ripple effect of courage.
Yeah, I loved this part. The idea is when you push past your fear and share your knowledge, you're not just helping your direct audience.
Right.
You're also like giving permission, inspiring other people like you. People also sitting on knowledge, held back by doubt. You inspire them to share too.
Your action makes it seem possible for them.
Exactly. It shows you don't have to be perfect, just willing to help. Creates this amazing positive cycle, a multiplier effect.
So, reflecting on everything we've covered from these sources, wow, we've seen the traps of expert imposter syndrome, the real value you likely hold, the huge market waiting, the tech being easier than ever, and a whole toolkit of strategies to actually do something about it, something impactful, maybe even life-changing financially.
Yeah, the picture the sources paint is pretty clear. Technology, especially the user-friendly stuff and AI assist, has basically removed the old barriers. The knowledge economy. It values authenticity, real-world wisdom, tested experience, way more than old-school credentials or impossible perfection.
And maybe the most important takeaway from all these sources, the biggest barrier left is usually internal. It's you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting to feel 100% ready. Stop waiting till you think you know absolutely everything. The prep time is over. Time for impact is now. Start where you are, with what you have, for the people who need you today.
Which really brings up a key question for you listening right now. Based on all this, what's just one small piece of your knowledge, your experience, that you could take one tiny step towards sharing this week? Who's one person you could help solve one problem you've already beaten?
And here's that final thought from the source material that really landed for me. That imposter syndrome you feel. It isn't actually proof you're inadequate. In a way, it's a sign you care deeply about quality, about doing it right. And that same care, that same conscientiousness, if you channel it into action, that's exactly what can make you a fantastic, trustworthy teacher. So the real question isn't, am I qualified enough by some external measure? The real question is, am I ready to step up and help other people get through the challenges I've already conquered? Because the time for your impact, it's really here, it's begun.